What I'm going to do today is take you through the first part of the process of creating a startup. To do this, I'm going to be using a tool called the Market Opportunity Navigator to basically help us find a market that's interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play around with the automotive market, something to do with cars, something to do with mobility. Honestly, I don't know quite what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to work through the problem, looking for opportunities and trying to explain everything as I go along, so that you could sort of follow along and use it for yourself, copy, help give you more understanding of the market opportunities that you're looking at, so that you don't jump in. One of the reasons why we want to do this is often entrepreneurs jump in and say, oh, I'm going to create this solution. And they create a solution, but they don't often understand the problem that they're solving, or the customers or the customer use case that they're solving. That's the first thing. But then what happens if you're solving a really good problem for customers who really want it solved, but you're just in the wrong marketplace and your total market size is only a few $100,000? It's hardly worth making a startup in that case. So the Market Opportunity Navigator helps you think about the skills and resources that you've got, and then reach out and look at find the right market for you. So the Market Opportunity Navigator, it's a tool created by a couple of super clever academics, and you can find all the details about it at wheretoplay.co. Basically, there are three parts. There's the market opportunity set. What are the market opportunities that we're looking at? Secondly, there's the attractiveness map. Thirdly, it's like, okay, where are we going to start off focusing? So let's get started, and we'll have a look at the market opportunity. So we're thinking today, okay, we're looking at doing something in the automobile industry, automotive sector rather, and that is currently undergoing lots of changes. There are four big trends in that area, and they are electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, digitalization, and mobility. So electric vehicles, get rid of the petrol engine, put an electric one in. Autonomous vehicles, get rid of the driver, put an artificial intelligence one in. Mobility, get rid of your car, use some other way of using transport. Uber is a great example of this, providing the solution, which is mobility, rather than providing a product, which is a car. And then finally, digitalization. Okay, a car is a big piece of dumb steel, doesn't really tell you much about anything. How can we make that interact better with you, with the world, what you're trying to do with the mobility that you're trying to achieve? So those are the four big areas, and we're going to start off and we're going to think, okay, so I've got some experience in the automotive industry. So I've got experience in importing, actually, let's call it, I'm a car dealer, buying and selling used cars. Okay, so this is where I am at the moment. So that is one of my core skills. What other skills have I got? I've got large connections across the industry, right? So I'm just taking somebody who's been running a car dealership for a number of years, detailed consumer knowledge. So he knows a lot about what consumers, what they like in cars, what actually sells, what doesn't sell in the local market. And I'm sure there's more. At the moment, I'm just doing this pretty quick, pretty dirty. This takes a lot longer in real life. And often your core abilities or technological elements In many ways, you could think of this as your core competencies, which is what I'm doing here. So I was talking to a Taiwanese startup the other week, actually, working on electric battery packs to keep the temperature stable. And their core skills were in the design and manufacturing of the battery packs, or the packs to put electric modules in. And so it can be something very, very technical. It can be something more what your product, or what you can actually put into a product, or it can be softer skills like this existing businessman I'm thinking about today. So what do we mean when we're buying and selling new cars? So what particular skills? Now let's just see, have I got some bullet points? I'm looking for bullet points. Yes, here we go. So buying and selling cars, what have we got here? So he knows about pricing, he knows about margins, he knows about the supply chain, he knows about, let's just try and keep this nicely titled. He knows about car conditions, car condition. He knows about repairs and recon. He knows about financing. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty good. So what connections have you got? Let's just copy and paste this. What do we know here about the connections across the industry? So there's obviously ones with the manufacturers. Bought some cars from abroad, for foreign suppliers, to do with the industry association, buyers association, who else? Other dealers, service and parts centres. And if you look at what we're doing here, we're starting to sort of say, okay, so we've got all these skills. What can we play with here? And so we also need to think about the detailed consumer knowledge that we're playing with. Okay, what has he got here? So customer types. Oops, types. That's a typo on types. Customer types and personas. A persona is something a bit like your ideal customer. Oh, I made that even worse. No, sorry about that. Yes, there we go. Customer types and personas. We've got demographics. We've got finance preference is and ability to pay. We've got ownership cycle. What else is there that we'll know about consumers? Other habits and things we've kind of covered in the consumer types and personas. I don't know the industry in detail, but in many ways you might then be able to sort of dive down in particular personas. I know this particular group of people very well, so it may be school mums, because this guy in the past has been selling SUVs or people carriers to mums who are doing the school trips, so he knows an awful lot about that particular group. So now, okay, so these are the elements that we're going to be starting to sort of try and find a market opportunity for. Let's just say, remember this, we're going to put these it's autonomous vehicles. I'm just going to put these electric vehicles, digitalization, and what was the last one? Mobility. And this is where we're looking at creating a new company or a startup, something working in one of these spaces. We haven't quite figured out what it is. Roboto, is always a nice font, by the way. It's nice, clear, easy to read, and makes it digitalization. There you go. So we're now looking for something here. So we say, okay, what market opportunities are there for this? So let's have a quick thought. Where can we do? So autonomous vehicles, right? Okay, I'm a small car dealer. What do I know about autonomous vehicles or electric vehicles? Can I make them? No. Am I able to make software that helps drive them? No. So those aren't great market opportunities for me. Digitalization, I don't know much about digital kind of stuff or technology, but I do know a lot about people who drive cars, why they buy cars, what they're wanting, what are the use cases in cars. And so that's quite good. And also, I'm guessing mobility is quite attractive, because again, that's relying on my knowledge of people, how they use cars, what they want cars for, what they're telling my salesman, how we've overcome objections in the past. So that's given me a lot of market data about the car buyer. So these look quite attractive. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify a couple of market opportunities. So let's say we'll say one market opportunity could be, oh, why is that come up? I don't want that there. What one market opportunity could be, and I'm desperately thinking for one. Let's call it Uber for commuters. Yeah, so we're looking Uber for commuters, something like providing a mobility for people who are doing the same routes to work all day, every day. No idea what that means at the moment. And let's chuck in another one, something on the digitalization. Okay, commuting is boring. Where I live, I think we have the fourth highest rate of fatalities in the world. May not actually be that data problem, and because worse countries don't record it as well, so their figures are good. But lots of motorcyclists get killed. So is there something that we can be there doing? So stopping car drivers killing motorists. So let's look in sort of car safety with tech. Right. Okay. Again. So what are the opportunities here? So now I just need to find my right flowchart. Can I just move this? I'm going to move that across there, and I need new shape. I need a different library. I need mind mapping. Here we go. So let's put it in. So the mind map. Okay, let's think about commuters. So what sort of thing do they want? Sorry, get to work, and they also want to get home. But we've also, I'm guessing, we've got school mums. I mentioned them a minute ago. Yeah. So let's thinking about where's my mind map gone? Here we go. Oops, is that right? No, that's not quite right. Let's try and do that here. Oh well, different shapes. Never mind. Kids to school. Yeah, because we've got the same sort of thing, sort of regular set routes going, or regular set routes for people that are pretty difficult. Okay, so could tidy that up, but those are a couple of interesting market opportunities that we can see at the moment. Then the next one, okay, car safety with tech. Okay, let's go in here and let's say, right, okay, oopsie. So we can say long journeys. Yeah, how can we make long journeys a little bit safer? So we're talking about distraction, and then maybe a different one is tiredness. Probably similar technology, slightly different. They need distraction, and then we commuting, tiredness. We could be looking at lorry drivers. Yeah, I'm doing this all on the fly. I haven't thought about this before, and so you can see it's pretty quick and easy. Tiredness, holidays, and then we can chuck in one more, long commutes. So at the end of this, right, so we've gone from, in what is it, 5 or 10 minutes, we've gone through a process of looking at what are my skills, what do I know about the industry. At the moment, not a lot of this is explicitly down into my market opportunities, but it's clear that I've got a lot of information here that's influencing what I think I can do here. And again, a lot of the information coming through in here is quite secondary. What is clearly obvious at the moment is, right, I have no idea about the technology on how to deliver this. I have no idea really about the problem or the solution. I'm just very high level thinking about what is possible. And so these here we're getting sort of ideas of, okay, so who is going to be the type of customer? So we're looking at the application. Yeah, what is the Uber for commuters, the car safety, and who is the customer? Kids to school, mum's taking kids to school, long journey, who's driving on a long journey, going up to see grandmother who lives in a different city, going to work every day. So we can quickly see, create a mental image in our mind of who might be using the tools here. And this is really important because you design your products, your services, to help people solve problems. Products in and of themselves, or services, it's like, who cares? That's just another piece of junk that maybe may have a use. But doing something for somebody is super important. Okay, so now let's go on to the next stage, and at this point we dive down deep. I'm only going to go into one of these, and okay, let's try the school mums kids to school. They're already kind of commuter services doing that, but hey, why not take that and make that sort of pretty see what we can do. So school mums and kids to school is the one I'm going to do here. So let's get the text. For commuters. Let's just turn that into Lato again, and very another nice font, clear and easy to read. Often you'll find Roboto is awesome for titles. Lato is very clean for the rest of the text. So let's have a look at this and think things through. And so what we do in this sheet, we're evaluating the market opportunity attractiveness, and this again is fairly straightforward. A lot of the time people know this in their heads, but they don't explicitly get it out on paper. And when you get things out on paper, that often makes things a lot clearer. So I'm just thinking, what is the best way to do this? Let's get a little shape and we'll try and make it fit. Oops, bear with me a moment. I should have prepared one of these earlier in the immortal words of Blue Peter. Okay, never mind. Let's okay, fine. Such as life, things don't work often as you intend. That's okay. So we'll make that red, and actually we'll make it so we can kind of say there what we're doing. Right, okay, so we'll just use that as an approach to highlight things. So right, okay, so for each of these, the potential, is there a compelling reason to buy? Is there an unmet need? Is it an effective solution? Is it better than current solutions? Right, so let's think about it. Nowadays, I used to walk or cycle to school a lot of the time. My mum used to take me about half the time. Now, where I live, it's very, very rare in the big city for kids to head to school to themselves unless they're going to a very local school and they're living in one of the poorer neighborhoods, and that's from economic reasons rather than choice, I suspect. So parents, most families, mum and dad are working, and they've got to be finishing work at 3:30 or 4 to pick the kids up. They've got to be getting the kids to school at 7 or 8, or for some schools, if they do 2 shifts, so there's a morning school and an evening school, and if there's kids on an evening school, they've got to be taking the kids to school at 2 and picking them up at 8, something like that. So we've got to consider, so people like this, so what have they got to do? They're spending 2 hours a day, maybe an hour, 1 or 2 hours a day taking the kids to school. That's a big cost. What else could they be doing with that time? Admittedly, spending good quality time with the kids. Do they want to spend that time with the kids? Is it really quality time, or is it just time where they are in close proximity with the kids? What else could they be doing with it? So I don't think it's super high. It's not going to make the kids safer. It's not going to give them better education. It's not low because there is a clear pain point for the parents who are pressed for time. So I think somewhere between mid and high. It depends on the customer demographics. For some, it could be very high. Are there going to be enough? For some, it could be not so high, but there are likely to be a lot more people of them. Okay, and now let's come up with market volume. So current market size, country where I live, 26 million. So it must be about 2 to 3 million children of school age. Okay, make it 1 million in the big cities. Make it I don't know, 200,000 or 300,000 in the big urban area that I live in, where the commute is more than a few minutes. And so we'll put it in the low to mid. But I'm in Asia, so there are, I think, 20 cities of more than 2 million people, and most of those are in a larger metropolitan area. So we're looking at potentially hundreds of thousands to millions of users potentially. So I think it's pretty reasonable market size. Expected growth, it's going to be fairly stable for the next 20 years. Growth will come from user adoption rather than growth in that actual number of children. But I think a lot of growth will come from people, as technology enables things, it will become more acceptable. So I'll leave it at mid. Okay, let's think about the economic viability. Economic viability is, are we going to make any money? And right now, we don't exactly know how we're going to do it. Kids to school service, Uber for commuters. Okay, Uber. So we don't own the service, or we don't own the buses. We don't own the vans. We are connecting people doing the school connect to parents with children to be transported, and obviously we probably need to do something about safety. So we'll figure that, probably that comes over in the next bit. So what's the economic viability? We're going to be making it super easy, super flexible for the parents to get the kids to school. Existing processes work on having a fixed route every day so that they've got fixed costs that they've got to do. So if numbers are too small, it's not economically viable. What we can do with a smart app is to do much more dynamic routing, dynamic drivering, and making sure that everything works so that we can actually probably do it with fewer children needing to be transported and still be more profitable. mileage. So it's basically the economic viability comes to, we develop the app, how many people can we get to use the app, and we're taking 5-10% of the journey price for that. So if we can get 5 or 10,000 people in a city, we've probably got pretty reasonable viability. The customer's ability to pay, giving them 2 hours of extra work a day potentially in a family, that's 14 hours a week there. So that's a 12 or 15% potential increase in salary uplift, in performance, or what other things that they can do to improve the quality of life. So I think they can probably pay there. And stickiness, well, once they get used to it, it's going to be very difficult to give up all that freedom that they've got unless they're under financial pressure. So I think it's very nice on that basis, because you'll get a very stable cash flow coming out. So once you've bought a customer once, the lifetime value is pretty good. Big questions about the cost of acquiring a customer. So there we go. So we're in the mid-size. So we'll pop it in mid-size. So it's a reasonable opportunity here. I've not got a huge amount of boom about this. I'm not thinking, wow, this is going to make me the next Bill Gates. But on the other hand, it's not. I don't think it's going to leave me a pauperized. So that's pretty cool. But how easy is it to do? So let's go over to the other side. Let's just move this across a little bit. Okay, how easy is it to do? Okay, so what have we got to do to get this to work? So we've got to make an app that people want to use. Honestly, making an app nowadays isn't hard. Making the user interface not too hard. Lots of experience, lots of skill out there. People are familiar with using apps for lots of things in the marketplace, so again, not that hard. What else? So there's a parent trust issue. Okay, random driver turns up. Could he be a paedophile? Am I going to put my kid into the car with him? So that's an obstacle. How can I reach out to all the parents, and what education do I need to give them about the safety? What features do I need to put in with the children? Do the children all need to have a smartphone or GPS or tracking? How do I do that? So apart from the basic Uber style app, there's a bunch of safety features that we've got to be putting in. What if my kid is bullied by the other kids in the bus? That's something my wife says, which is why we don't do it. So there we go. So I think we'll put them into the mid ones, because you've got a lot of social and psychological obstacles that need fairly novel engineering to start resolving. But the obstacles aren't hugely high. We can see that, okay, so the first app version, second app version, third app version may not get it quite right, but we can iterate through, and parents have different levels of tolerance, different risk levels. So we get people to start with perhaps with a higher risk tolerance, and then as the app improves, we get more adoption as we're able to resolve a lot of the objections. And the funding, again, it's an interesting app. It's playing in a big world, but is it really standing out? Is the potential there? Or you could say it could be bought by Uber as a service if it works, an acqui-hire or something like that. We'll have to see. But I don't think it's the funding is distinctly worse than a lot of apps. Not easier, not worse, bang in the middle. Time to revenue. So time to revenue is right. Okay, so once we start this, how long is it going to take to get money in through the door? Okay, so we got an app. So we've got 1 to 2 months for a very quick MVP, with a month or so of going out, getting out of the building, going and seeing customer development, figuring out what they want. Starting with a trial site fairly quickly. So you could be getting revenue. You don't Possibly you don't even need the app to start with. You could do an online booking form, everything manually done with Excel sheets, which is time consuming and a lot of effort, but it allows you to understand the market better before you build the app, which saves on the app development time because you're building what's needed rather than what you think is needed. So relatively low time to revenue. I think you can be getting your first dollars, and I'm putting that in single digits, in maybe weeks. First thousands of dollars, maybe 3 to 4 months, once you've got the product market fit kind of there, or at least early adopters jumping on. Right, then let's have a look at the external risks. Right, okay, so external risk, competitive threats. So again, this is probably something that, so if Uber or Grab or somebody wanted it to do this, they got the market presence, so they can come in and squat you. But hey, have you seen what some of these Uber drivers and taxi drivers and people are like? Hey, there's a reason why people don't put their kids into Grab every day. It's too expensive, and they don't trust the people. So is this a market large enough to interest some of those behemoths? I'm not sure. Maybe they might buy a solution that does it, but possibly not jumping in straight off. Third-party dependencies were not obvious. Does it depend on anybody? To a certain extent, it depends on the government not regulating it, assuming it's not a taxi, so you don't have to come under a raft of those things. It assumes that it doesn't come under child protection. So there's a bunch of things playing around there. I think those regulatory dependencies more than industrial or commercial dependencies. And then barriers to adoption. What's to stop anybody else doing this? Honestly, not a lot. However, I think this is a play. If you're picking up school kids from many houses and delivering them to many schools, so you've got a many-to-many network solution, you want network density. So in any particular market, there's likely to be one overall winner. Yeah, so you might win suburbs in a city, you may win cities in a country, you then may win countries, but it's very easy to see somebody copying the business model and applying it to other cities or other countries. So at some point, to get scale, you're probably looking to go out and buy competitors rather than have a bloodbath. So, but the risks again are medium. So we're looking overall challenge at a little bit low to medium. Okay, so let's just go back. Let's just go to the market opportunity set. So we're going to put in, just bear with me a minute. The market opportunity set is commuters and so commuters. Oops. Commands. Okay, and I'm going to put these both in green to say that they are a mobility play. And then we've got what were the other ones? They were distraction and tiredness. Distraction is one. Tiredness is the other. So here we go. This is the summary sheet where we'll putting everything down. So we got a few market opportunities that we're thinking about playing with. So let's just go back to this one. So we've evaluated this one. So overall we're mid and we're low too. So challenge is low medium, potentially it's medium to high. So let's just go back to the market opportunity side. But then we go on to the attractiveness. So the challenge is medium, the potential is medium to high. So we're plopping that on this grid here. So you can see it's the challenges across the bottom. It's not so super challenging. It's got reasonable amount of pace potential, so it's just coming into the into the gold mine area. So this is certainly something that is worth having a look at. Now, I'm not going to go through the other three, but you can very much see how they actually work. And then you can pop them in there. But what I'm going to do now is come on to the third sheet here into our market opportunity thing. So we're going to just take the school mums. Oops, let me just put this. Oopsie, let's put her in green there. Why am I calling her? Which color? I think it was that one. Right, and then let's go to the agile focus strategy. So we're popping in the school mums. And okay, so so we just need to put in the what we're doing here. So this is the primary market opportunity that we're focusing. We're focusing on the school mums. The secondary opportunities are the things like the commuters, and then the distraction. I'm putting these in here because it is worth thinking about them as we design the agile focus strategy. And then oopsie, no, didn't want to do that. Distractions and tiredness. It's hard spelling when you're under pressure like this. And what color were they? These were a pinky color, I think. Right. So we're focusing on the school mums, the backup plans. If we're not getting any traction, can't find product market fit with the school mums, we start thinking about these as fallback. So let's think about which. I just need another little shape to turn. By the way, this is Lucid chart that I'm actually using here to do all this. It's super easy to use. As you see, I can pretty quickly and instantly do things. It's great for process charts. So right, related to your primary market opportunity, so thinking about school mums for Uber, to what extent do the products share technological competencies, required resources, and necessary networks? So school mums for Uber, commuters for Uber. Okay, a lot of the technology is going to be similar. Yeah, fundamental same kind of thing. Are they super overlapping? No. You for school mums, you've got a bigger feature set with all the safety and trust issues, making sure that our precious little kids aren't bludgeoned to death or abducted by the driver, are safe in a crash, etc. So all those are things that you need to add in to make the school mum slightly more technologically successful. But at the same time, it's relatively easy to cut those out if you need to fall back onto the commuters. That's fairly safe. What extent do the customer share values, benefits, sales channels, word of mouth? Again, here, I think that there's probably quite a lot of market relatedness, because school mums and commuters, probably pretty much the same people. If you're older and richer, you're possibly not going to be commuting as much. You've got more flexibility in your hours. You're not a worker bee who has to work through the traffic at that time. So a lot of the same channels that you can possibly remarket to your existing list, your existing users, if you need to pivot. So let's say, yeah, we're pretty happy there. Now let's have a look at the distractions. Okay, so instead of Uber for school mums, we're trying to keep car drivers stopping from getting distracted. So school mums are a group of them, but it's not a routing problem how to get groups of people at A, B, C, D, E and get them to D, E, F. No, here you're concerned with personal behavior inside the car. So basically you're looking at psychology of the driver, how drivers move inside the seat, what they're looking at, where they're paying attention, how they're getting distracted with the phone. Totally different types of problem. You're probably going to have to start again from scratch, and I think that's also true from the tiredness. Market relatedness, I think is quite a lot closer to here, because people on the commute, it's boring, you're stuck in jam, you're you want something to do, you're getting distracted by the kids even. So again, you'd be able to use the same list, maybe not to the same extent. Now let's move it across a little bit as this one, but still you got quite a few synergies. And then when it comes onto the tiredness, where it's like, okay, a little bit, but most of the time when you're doing commutes, you're relatively fresh. It's not tiredness like driving a long distance or being a long distance lorry driver. Different set of behaviors. There may be some stuff that you can bring over, may not be. And the regular long drivers, the regular people who are getting tired, I think will be a different set. So I'm not convinced. I didn't realize it was going to work out like this. It was going to be there. Such is the way it is life. Wasn't planned to appear like this. So we then say which is the best backup opportunity. Well, it's obvious which one here is. The commuters. Bang, yeah, it's pretty good, because you've got product relatedness and market relatedness. So schools mums doesn't work. Relatively easy to head over and look at the commuters. A lot harder to head over and to work on the digitalization areas of distractions and tiredness. If you want to go there, it's better starting off in that area. The growth opportunities, here you can start off in school mums, and then possibly we can build another app using a lot of the same infrastructure at a much reduced cost to start going after the commuters. So I think there's a growth opportunity. So clearly, we'll. I'm not sure I'd want to pursue this now. I don't think the commuters we've got the skills and the capability to do both of these at once. A focus strategy is good, but when we're designing the app, when we're talking to people, if there's the opportunity to be asking the questions, to be getting ready, to be making sort of passive provision in the app for a potential expansion, that's what we do. So no active development of the commuter strategy, but it's there in our mind. This is what we are going to do if the school mums fails. The other two, honestly, I think they're too different, and I'm going to put them both into storage. So we come back. So if we have just a summary there, we're focusing on school mums. We've then gone back through and looked at the other different market opportunities. If you've got more market opportunities than this, you just have another sheet, bang, bang, bang. You might have 3 or 4 sheets of this, and then you get a fairly clear overview. So let's go back to the overview, and we'll put so we've got a little bit of a sense here. I will put, why didn't you say something when I put you there earlier? Pursuing school mums now. Where do we think the commuters are? I think the commuters are, I think actually that's slightly better. Just distraction. I think the challenge is higher, and the tiredness, I'm going to put that down there. So, so there we go. We've got it. So possibly we should be going for the commuters, but we haven't done the work on that. That's why the school mum is in the middle. The other two are less attractive as options. So let's put the commuters in. We're keeping the commuters open, and then we are taking the distractions. Oops, that's distractions twice, and then they are something that we're putting in storage. We may come on to them, but broadly, plan A and plan B will have to have failed, and we need to, something needs to have changed. We've either got more money after those haven't worked, or we need to go on to them. So what could happen is, say we're doing the school mums and we're realizing that we're spending a lot of time using a lot of stuff to monitor the kids' behavior in the car, the driver's behavior in the car, to assure the safety and the trust aspect. And suddenly this starts moving forward, and it starts becoming attractive, and we realize that actually a lot of the stuff that we've done for the school mum we could then spin off into this distraction market opportunity, and then maybe the commuter becomes less attractive. So that is the sort of way that you can start playing with it. And the cool thing about this tool is it gives you a very quick clear overview of, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. So when you've had this discussion with your team, or even with yourself, doing it by yourself is always a bad idea because you don't see everything. And I think if this had been done as a sharing session, pardon me, I just need a quick drink. I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. If we'd have done this as a sharing session, you would have got a lot more ideas. It would have been taking a lot longer because we'd have looked at all these, but it would be a lot richer as well. But once you've got it down on paper and somebody new comes in or says, why aren't we doing this, why aren't we doing this, I want to do this, I think this is good, you can say, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. And it makes it very clear, and it either helps resolve arguments, or it makes it easier to come back and say, challenge, why are we still going down this way? This doesn't work. We have got a viable opportunity, and now is the right time to be switching and pivoting from school mum to commuters, or from school mum down to distractions, because our original hypothesis doesn't work. And you don't keep on going this doomed death ride that some startups doing. This is our only plan, we have got to make this work, otherwise we are failures. And then it becomes a very nasty personal psychological play that screws you up. Whereas if you've got the plan B's already, you don't have so much ego invested. You say, okay, if we do X, Y, and Z for school mums and it doesn't work, that's okay. We have then got the plan B pivot to commuters, and this is roughly the time that we're going to start pivoting across. And that makes it work a lot safer, and you're putting your startup onto a much more stable roadmap to the future. So this is the Market Opportunity Navigator. It's an awesomely cool tool for looking at market opportunities that you want to explore with either your clients or for your startup, or even for your business. And this is being designed for startups, but in this case, I've actually had in the back of my mind a customer I'm working with whose car sales business isn't going to be viable long term due to changing the marketplace. Where is he going? What can he do? And so you can use it for even medium and large size businesses to say, where do I want to go next? And so it's super cool. The next step, and I'm not going to do it in the video, is to go onto the business model canvas, and we'll take the school mums and say, right, okay, we'll go out and we'll look at how this works. At the moment, you'll notice I'm really pretty agnostic about solutions. I've talked about apps, I've talked about routing, because I kind of think that's the way that we probably need to go. But how is it going to be paid for? I've got no idea of monetization. I've got a little bit of an idea about the value proposition and the customers, but there's no underlying business model next. So the next stage is to take this idea, start turning it out into a business model canvas, and then finally after that you start drilling down into the value proposition canvas to say, right, okay, how does this really going to deliver value to the mums, to the kids, to the drivers, to all the partners in the value chain. And so this is it. Any questions, do shout out. I try and answer comments fairly quickly within 12 or 24 hours, depending which time zone you're in and whether I'm asleep or not. If you'd like me to help you out with working through your market opportunities, give me a shout. More than happy to do that. Or again, anything to do with business model, design, strategy, helping a startup, and above all, helping you to reboot your business. I'm Denis Oakley. I do strategy for startups and SMEs.